Alright, I think we're going now. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you real quick to get started. I wanted to be able to show kind of the progress that I have made so far on my character for the ArtStation challenge. Now, yeah, these renders are pretty revealing about some of the things that I need to go through and fix. But I feel like it's also super helpful to to look through them, you know. So there are a couple of things that I want to kind of point out. Things that I will be fixing here on the stream, and those things include this. Like over here, we can see like there's some protrusion through the knee. If we kind of scroll through, we can see a little bit of it poking through here too. I already fixed that in one of the other areas, but essentially I want to go through and I'll do some drawovers to kind of show you some of the areas that I'll be going through and fixing. And this will be kind of a good professional feedback session for you guys to see kind of how I would handle giving feedback. And then, obviously, I'd be taking my own feedback. I've already made some notes to be able to show myself, make points of things that I need to talk about. Things like these pockets back here, the way that they're penetrating through. We're getting some subsurface scattering coming through this cloth that's a little bit heavy. I do want it there because I feel like I like the look of the material, the way that this is being handled, but I don't like how heavy it is along the edges. So we're going to have to try to play with that and tweak that some so that it looks nicer. You can see how heavy that subsurface scattering is along this cloth. So we'll just have to kind of adjust it and play with it and see if we can get it to look a little bit nicer. The eyebrows, they're just a little bit too pink. You can see there's the penetration through the knee. I feel like the surface on this knuckle piece is a little bit too clean, and then there's also there's not quite enough texture to these gloves. The gloves feel a little bit too simple. There's some things I need to do with the arms, like some shape things, and so we're going to go through and talk about like truing up the shape. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different little things. Trying to think if there was anything else like glaring or whatnot. I've got a big list right here, things that we'll talk about, but yeah, let's go ahead and let's jump into this. So I'm going to open up Photoshop and start kind of doing some drawovers. Let me just switch over to my other screen so you guys don't have to see this starting soon anymore. But let's go ahead and get started. So that was a little bit of an intro. Okay, let me see. Good morning, Midnight. How you doing? Oh, good. Good. Welcome to the stream. It's kind of funny. It's like usually, so you can see here's my little. It's taking a long time for Photoshop to open up. There we go. Usually this is the chat. This is how I get the chat. I can get all the different platforms listed out here. It's really nice. Usually it shows me a list down here, or at least it used to. It kind of does off and on. It's kind of a buggy thing. It'll show me how many people are watching, so I have no idea if there are people on or not, but obviously we've got somebody on because you're here. So that's kind of fun. So today, just to kind of fill anybody else in who's just jumping in here, I'm taking my character from the ArtStation challenge and I'm going to be doing some draw overs to kind of give myself critique, give myself feedback, and I'll kind of show you guys more or less kind of what that feedback session sort of looks like. And as you can see here, I've got like a bunch of notes here that I want to address, things I want to address. So I'm just going to do some draw overs, some redesign. Some of the things that I want to address will be, like pushing shape a little bit, maybe adjusting pose just a teeny bit. There's a lot that I want to kind of play with some, let me see. I am going to make a new layer. I'm going to put this into a group. I'm going to say feedback. And then I'm going to take this and I am going to drop it over here, drop it over here, drop it over here, drop it over here. So that way we're getting this folder with the drawback or the draw over feedback in it. Okay, so over here, this is probably where I'll start. Okay, I mean, we can zoom in. You see it gets a little bit fuzzy, but that's okay. What I want to do is I want to start by taking this this hand. I just want to delete it. I'm just kidding. Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V. And then I'm going to take it and we're going to say height-wise, we're going to say -100. We're just going to rotate it down. I know this is still, this is putting the hand in backwards. I'm okay with that for right now. Let's go ahead and put this on top. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of paint out the old hand. Paint on these little finger loopies that we have going through. Something like that. That way we can understand that we're going to go through and do kind of some hand readjustment instead of having the hand kind of cupping the apple like this. I want to turn it over so that it's more kind of drooping down. It feels a little bit more natural, and I wish I had thought about that before. Let me see. I'm going to grab the little scarf piece right here. Let's deselect that, Control J. We're just going to kind of give it a little bit more of a warp. We're just going to pull it off of its center a little bit. Do the same thing, just kind of paint in the background here so that it's not, so that it feels more like we're seeing the scarf kind of wave in the breeze a little bit more. Something like that. Whatever we need to have happen through here, make that feel about right. Okay, so we've got that. Just go through here and we'll just define that separation of lower leg and upper leg right there. Okay, so those are some things kind of paint over wise that I want to do here, but I also feel like, let me see, because there are a lot of things happening that I think I want to be able to go through and fix, but there's going to be kind of a level of, here, let's actually do this. I'm going to combine everything. Let's do it like this. Let's say delete. Say feedback _10J. Okay. We'll say group. We'll say draw over. And then I can put in a layer for text or something like that if I felt like I wanted to. Let's see, I need these eyebrows break the plane a little bit better. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm just going to merge these down. I don't need more than one layer in here, I don't think. So I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to have these kind of break away from the face just a little bit more. I feel like that'll have a greater design impact. See, I feel like that having it break the silhouette more, I feel like that's a much cleaner, nicer look. Yeah, it gives us some better design appeal. Alright, something like that. Is he possibly on another planet? I wonder if changing the terrain to a purplish color could sell the space idea and give some contrast to the character's earth tones. Maybe. I mean, I kind of like the reddish tones because it's something that relates to something that that we could understand, something that feels relatable and understandable quickly and easily. Also, good morning. How you doing, Gavin? But yeah, so that's some of my thoughts here on this angle. Now we do have some spots where we need to let's deselect that. We'll drag the rest of them in here. Yeah, let's actually go through and cancel. That's, I guess, one of the things I forgot to do is zoom out. Now we can go ahead and do it. So you can see, like, there are a lot of areas where things are poking through, the shape's not quite right, those sorts of things. Hey, Mike. Hey, you got a new emoticon. Dude, Paris is here. Good to see you, dude. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's such a fun character, and I have a lot of things to go through and kind of fix to make it feel cleaner, more controlled. But we're getting there. So let me see, feedback _ and then we'll just say Control copy paste K. And then so I'm just going through and kind of doing some draw over feedback for myself, so that I can have, so I can have the feedback I need. I've already gone through and kind of made some good notes. If anybody sees anything, if you're willing to give a critique, I'm willing to receive it. So. I am totally willing to have your feedback at any point. So let me know. Okay. Just going to go ahead and close some of these down. I'm going to deal with some of these other. Actually, let's go with this one, since this one has a good draw over. I'm going to come in here. There's some things here that I definitely want to work on and fix. So yeah, the character is modded the knee a little bit so that it's not penetrating through. Something else that really kind of stands out to me. I'm gonna grab this. Let me see. Control Shift copy, Control Shift paste. And I'm just gonna take this and just kind of bump it over. I wanna play with this shape a little bit so that it's not so, because like if we turn that off, you see it's got like this weird bend in, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to kind of straighten that out, and then I'll do the same thing over on this side. I'll take this piece of the arm, Control Shift copy, Control Shift paste. Let's warp that so that it's more a straight shape, kind of going along through here. In fact, let's go through here and we'll just kind of paint that in a little bit. But yeah, something like this where we get to have a nicer, straighter shape. I think that's going to be much better for this particular angle. because it's going to help to enforce the idea of this arm going down instead of having this sort of weird bending out happen. It's kind of a pain. So the raptor's a universal emoji. What? How do you type that emoji? It's kind of a fun one, seeing a little raptor face. Yeah, let me see. So I'm going to write some notes in here. Let's go ahead and dang it. I hate it when that happens. My internet is terrible, and so it dies on me, and it's just frustrating. Okay, so now that I'm done, no, I'm just kidding. Just gonna pull this away from the face just a little bit. And that'll just kind of help to break the silhouette. It'll help to make it so that's just, just a little bit more appealing in that sort of sense. Okay, I get some breakaway from the brow there. I am going to want to go through and kind of play with the actual eyes here. Let's see, sample all layers. Say contiguous. And then we'll say let's get like dark color. Say something like this. And we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of paint that in. I want to do kind of like a Vince Dromart eye, where he's like, he has like these super amazing eyes that he paints in, or that he gives his characters, and it's just like so much life to it, and I kind of want to try to do something kind of similar to what he does, but I'm obviously giving him like Germany flag eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to play with that and kind of see where it goes. Give him like a good speck in the eye or something like that. Let me see. Let's come back over here. Eyes development. Gracias, Abraham. Le estoy poniendo las pilas. The ground feels a little bit, I don't know, like the ground feels like it's not developed quite the way that I want. So I'm going to have to kind of play with that some. Okay, let's go ahead and type in scars raised a bit in displacement. The keyboard doesn't seem to like to work super well sometimes. It doesn't seem to like to work sometimes in Photoshop, so it kind of drives me nuts. So we'll call this feedback for this image done. I'm going to go ahead and check out different angles, and okay, so from this side we can see, let's add this, let's put this in, draw over. So for this right here, this is kind of showing exactly what I'm jumping at there. Let's mute my computer so you guys don't have to hear it chiming in the background. I'm just going to grab this and just straighten that out quite a bit, so it's nice and nice shape. Okay, let's go ahead and turn that back on. We can kind of even this out some. Okay, so something like that, much straighter. Okay, I might actually, let me see, let's try some of this. I'm gonna say sketch. I'm gonna make it a green line. And then instead of that one, we're going to use this one. And I want to kind of clean up this shape a little bit so that it's a little bit more, kind of straight across. Okay, making a cleaner sort of shape coming across his rear end here. I can still kind of get like that rounded end or whatever, but I think having like a little bit straighter across is going to be kind of a neat idea here. This is a shape that bothers me. You see, it's got like this little wave right here. I don't want it to have that little wave. I want it to be much more, like straight across. Okay. So I'm going to have to go through and kind of fix that. And I wish this was something that I had noticed before. It's one of those things that, let's go ahead and kind of make sure that I want these two lines to be parallel, more or less. Certainly more than they are right now. But yeah, so that's something that I'm trying to look out for. And let's go ahead and we'll kind of add that in so that we know to look for it. This hand gesture is actually kind of boring to me. I want to give it a little bit more weight. So we're going to kind of push on it a little bit more. Let's go ahead and kind of push this over here, something like this, so that it feels more like it's got let's kind of push this up. More weight. Okay. Cuando sea grande quiero ser como tú. Gracias, compadre. Yeah, just to kind of true up that shape a little bit. I do need to make sure to add in my glasses. I do kind of want to add in the glasses just for the sake of seeing how it goes. So I'm going to come over here. Bring in glasses. Let's say sketch. I'm going to circle this little spot over here because that's the part in the knee that I need to fix. I want to make sure that I'm getting here. In fact, let's go ahead and we'll say use the pen tool, just so that I can get the line that I want out of it. Get something much straighter through there. Stroke path, okay. Stroke path, okay. Come on. Okay, so there we go. There's some of that. Like we said, we're going to want to kind of adjust the hand a little bit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, I guess in Sketch, let's do this. I'm going to take my pen tool. Let's give it a little bit more of a curve, kind of coming down to that same point. We're going to, let's go ahead and grab this. We'll take it over here a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so something like that. I'm just going to do kind of like a quick mock-up of what that would look like. So I'm going to say Control-Shift-C, Control-Shift-V, grab my warp, and we're just going to kind of push this into place, more or less. Just to see kind of roughly what that's going to look like. And oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and kind of paint that out, because that's a little bit distracting trying to see. Something like that. Okay. So, yeah, let's go ahead and paint out the rest of the glove over here, just so that it's more solid of an object. It's funny, I just started kind of tuning in to different conversations on the Clubhouse app. There's some interesting conversations, but I think that a lot of it's just people butting heads, and so it's kind of an interesting platform so far. Okay, that's a little bit easier to tell. That feels a little bit weird. So I'm going to say bend hand. I'm going to turn that off. Maybe what I have to do is just kind of like curve my fingers in. We'll try that. Turn apple hand down. Curl extended hand. Okay, just to be able to see kind of like what to see what that would look like. I think that would make the pose a little bit more dynamic. I think that the pose feels a little bit too, it just feels a little bit too still, you know. So I'm going to do something like that. Let me see. Okay. Let's go ahead. let's well, pardon me. Okay, I want to jump past this one. This one is one that I want to go ahead and talk about, though, because this has a lot of things to it that really need some fixing. Like, for instance, we have the subsurface scattering in the pocket. Or sorry, in the scarves. Pocket penetration. Elbow folds, freckles on shoulders. Okay, we'll call that good for now. Let me see what else we need. A lot of the shape stuff over here seems like it's working all right. There's some penetration right here. So here, let's go ahead and we'll say draw over. Sketch. Turn this on, turn this off. Okay, so with the elbow, I'm trying to decide if I want to do something kind of like a little swirl, or if I want to do something just kind of simple, you know, where it's like this. and it might be, I don't know. I'm gonna have to kind of play with it a little bit. A little bit of, you know, that right there. I need to circle this because this definitely needs to be called out. And then I'm trying to decide, right now I have the emissive turned on for the shoes, but in the render currently, it's not really showing through. I'm going to say glow need mo juice. Needs to feel more cinematic. Okay. And it's something that I swear there's got to be a way to do it, but I want to see if there's a way to add thickness to these blades of grass. I just feel like that's one of those things that there's got to be a way to do it. Yeah, we'll call this one good. I'm not going to worry about this one, so I'm going to mark that yellow so that I can kind of keep an eye on what it is that I need to go back to, or what it is that I need to that where I have feedback. Okay. This one you can see kind of some of the over. I spelled that wrong, but it doesn't matter. So knee penetration, pocket penetration. Oh, that's terrible. Call that out. Okay, this is still like a little misshapen. You can see like it's not circular, it's not even oval, it's, yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and say stroke. That's too thick. Stroke 2 pixels. Okay. Oh, over here, this is a great big boo-boo. So this is all because of penetration in the geometry. So like the hand is going through the glove a little bit, and so it's creating a little bit of a weird artifact in the render. Let me see. These spots. Okay, we want to make sure that we can see where the shoulder bit is going, and that it's not going through the underarm right here. It's not. It looks terrible, you know. And you know, at a certain point with the geometry, we can make things like that disappear. You know, we can fix that by adjusting the collar fluff up here. So we're going to go ahead and look at that. Yeah, everything else looks pretty good from this angle. So I think everything else should be fine the way it's adjusted. I think we already looked at it from this angle, but let's go ahead and circle it anyway. I do kind of want to emphasize the. Yeah, let's go ahead and kind of. Get that straight line kind of going there. And the other thing I might do is that, you know, it could be better, even if it's not a straight line back here, maybe it's a little bit of a curve, but so maybe what we'll do is we'll just kind of like give it a soft curve on the back, if I can get a good line. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna turn my Like it's just a little bit too strong. It's a little bit better. And just, here's what I'm going to do. Draw a straight line. I'm going to select it. Try to select it. And I'm just going to use warp and just bend it out. Just a nice slight kind of curve going in that way. But then over here, I want it to have kind of a nice straight edge so that it's contrasted with the curve on the back. So I'm going to take that, move it over, and just kind of adjust it out, and that should be good. So getting like a slight bend here, it'll give it a little bit more so that it's obvious. All right. More details to this. I would go through and like add some super like some wear and tear, like some actual tear in the glove. I'm just going to stop. Like I'm going to totally delete all of my streams from today because this is horrendous. This is terrible. The internet is being so rude. Yeah, so a lot of what we did here, I mean, this is just kind of simple stuff that we went through and did. Okay, you can see we went through. We wanted to pull on. Get some flow to that scarf. We want to sorry. I want to kind of like take the hand so that it's going down rather than being turned up because it feels more natural. And then I'm trying to think. I think I might want to like puff this cheek out even further, which means that this eye is probably going to get a little bit affected. Yeah, and then we got to make sure that that's nice and level. Make sure that that's nice and level. And really, I mean, this is getting there. It's getting really, really close. So let's see. Hopefully we have enough notes to kind of work on, and then I want to get some some freckles on his shoulders. I want to get some freckles on his face. So we'll just kind of that last one looks like a bogey. All right, do something like that. Something like this. This way we can go through, we can kind of flip through our sketches and see what's wrong. Let's go ahead and let's go fix this stuff. So I'm going to fix a lot of the geometry issues in Maya, but there are some things that I'm going to have to go through and tweak inside of ZBrush. In fact, it might be best if I went and did that in ZBrush anyway. I don't know. Let's stick with Maya. I think that'll be better. Just move forward, don't move backward. Okay, let's go ahead, turn off depth of field so we can see. going to turn off all of these keys. So I delete all of them so I don't have to worry about messing up my view at all. Okay, I want to see. Okay, so some of the things that we talked about. I'm going to grab the vertices of this dealio right here. I'm just going to take them and just kind of turn them out a little bit. Just so that they break the silhouette. Kind of invert our selection. Same thing, hold D, V, and snap. And then we can just kind of have it break the silhouette a little bit of that of the face. Let's go ahead and kind of adjust our soft select. Something like that. I feel like that's starting to get a little bit better. I mean, there's still some things like, let's kind of play with some of this here. Something like that. Although this shape is kind of getting messed up, so we're just going to kind of tweak this a little bit. I don't like the way that it's kind of like coming up and then like curving the wrong direction. So we're just going to take this, let's curve it the correct direction. Pull it up. That looks so much better. Okay. Just kind of take kind of the middle section of this area right here. Just kind of round it out just a little bit. I feel like it's getting a super, super tight. Let me see, let's go to tools, tool settings, soft selection, surface, interpolation. Let's go, instead of none, let's say smooth. Take it like this. Just that way it's a little bit smoother of a transition. It should hopefully make it so that it's a nicer shape. I don't know how it got to be a linear sort of fall off, but I think that might be actually default. So we're getting the eyebrows. Let's let's take these cheeks and see if we can expand them out in a nice way. Let's see if we can get like a buff out this cheek. And I'm trying to decide whether or not to take the take this eye up a little bit, like the eyelid up. Let's come over here, pull this out just a little bit. Yeah, just gotta have some fun with it, right? Just gotta have some fun with it. Let's see, let's bring this. Rotate this a little bit and then pull it down. It's kind of a tricky battle messing around with things inside of Maya because it's not as fast and flexible as ZBrush is. Let's go ahead and we'll take this now. That's a little bit better. Okay, so now we've got that going. One of the things that we were seeing was penetration from the knee. Okay, so one of the things I gotta do, I gotta come in here, I gotta look at it from the inside. Yeah, it's its own special challenge for sure. See, this mesh needs to be pulled kind of down and in. And we'll have to see here in a minute if it, you know, if it works the way that we're hoping it will. So far it looks like it's all right. So yeah, we'll have to see kind of how well it works. While we're in vertex selection mode, we'll go ahead and we'll grab the seat of his pants and kind of pull it out. Do the same thing down over here. Pull this out. Cause it kept like disappearing on the in the render. Pull this out just a little bit. It sounds like the garbage might be here to collect. I hope I got the garbage can out. I'm pretty sure I did. See, this looks like it's a little bit tight. me see. With his trousers, I don't believe there was anything else. Let me go ahead and grab my... So one of the things that I'll do with my lists is I'll go through and I'll start crossing things out with green after I accomplish them. So I'm going to say, let me see, look for the back pockets penetration. Okay, so we got that taken care of. I want to push the pose, but that's something that I'm going to have to kind of work with. Butt to thigh shape underneath. I want to play with that shape some. Okay, so let's go ahead. We'll play with that a little bit. Okay, so you can see like we're getting like this weird, like, I mean, we're getting the, you know, kind of a natural sort of shape for the butt, right? I don't feel like I really want it to feel like a butt per se. Like I don't want it to have these clefts going through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, you know, section by section kind of pull these vertices out, and that'll help to kind of get more of a shape control through here. And that's starting to look a little bit better. This area through here, though, I kind of want to smooth this out a little bit because it's a little bit lumpy. We don't want it to be lumpy. We want it to be kind of like this nice, smooth sort of shape. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by grabbing some of these edges. Shift right click, I'm going to say edit edge flow. And I'm just going to grab all these other edges that are kind of next to it. And I'm going to do the same thing, edit edge flow. And that'll kind of smooth and even these things out quite a bit. So now you can see we don't have as much lumpiness through here. I still have a little bit, so maybe we'll go ahead and we'll kind of keep playing with these. Maybe what we'll do is we'll take this, just grab the sculpt tool, and we will say smooth, or let's say relax. There's a relax. And then the brush is really big, so hold B and kind of shrink it down. And just kind of brush over that. Just click and brush. And that's trying to maintain forms a little bit while also trying to even out the topology. So it's a little bit of a tricky sort of tool to use. Definitely not as quick and clean and simple as ZBrush, but you know, it gets the job done to an extent. Let's go ahead and get that smoothed out. Starting to get somewhere, starting to get somewhere. All right. See, that's getting a much nicer shape down there. I still want to kind of adjust some things manually, but it's much cleaner. Pull this out just a little bit. I better save so that I don't lose it. to say, let's grab a couple of these, kind of expand it out. We'll just kind of pull them up a little bit, just to kind of get that shape going a little bit cleaner through here. Right, let's grab this one right here. We'll kind of pull it down. It's like we're giving this guy a colonoscopy or something. It's kind of gross. But that's much better. That's definitely getting a much cleaner shape through there. Now it feels like it's coming out a little bit too far down here in the middle, but let's clean that up a little bit. But let's go ahead and expand that out. Let's kind of pull it up some. And then right through here, pull that up some. All right. Yeah. Okay, right up here, this is something that we want to go through and kind of adjust. Okay, and I'm trying to decide. Yes, let's do it like this. And then we'll say, is it F10? No, it's F12. Nope, F11. Nope, it's F9. We'll grab all of those. Turn off soft select. Okay, and then we'll say deform, say lattice, and this lattice should be kind of what we need to be able to fix everything. What I'm going to do, let's come over here actually to the channel box. We're going to want to say 5. Just to kind of get enough points in here. Let's get these lattice points. We'll just kind of bend it down so that it's got a little bit more of a straight edge. It feels quite a bit better. Say delete by history, or delete by type history. Same thing, we want to say F9. Let's go ahead and select this set now. We'll say the same thing. We'll say deform, lattice, 5, 5. And we'll worry about it up and down. It's not really a huge deal doing it all the directions. So let's go ahead. We'll grab these. Let's see. Actually, let's grab this corner and we'll pull this down. Grab this corner, kind of tweak it a little bit. Something like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. We'll just kind of pull this up and in. Pull this out just a little bit, just so that it's adjusted to fit that corner a little bit better. Fit that corner a little bit better. Okay, so that's looking good. So we fixed that. Let me see. I'm gonna check some things off now. What else have we done? We've done the butt to thigh. We've done the penetration on the right knee. The glove penetration is something we need to do. Grass thickness is something that I'm not sure that I'll be able to do, but it's something that I definitely want to do. Punching the base details, that's something I'm going to have to do inside of ZBrush. Subsurface control in maps for non-surface subsurface. I'll have to do that at a different time, I think. The arm shapes. Let's go ahead and we'll fix some of these arm shapes. Just gonna take it and just kind of drag it in just a little bit. Hopefully that'll get me, oops. Let's kind of shrink down that soft select some. Just kind of trying to control that shape little by little, and I think that's starting to work. We'll know more once it's rendered, but here, let's go ahead. I want to actually get it so that it's got a little bit more weight to it. It's got a little bit more of like a, in fact, maybe what we could do is we could just grab some points back here, kind of give it a little bit more of like a curve here on the back, so that it feels a little bit more like it's got some weight and intentionality here in the arm. Over here is a major problem with the arm and everything, so let's go ahead and check and see. Yeah, we can fix that. What I'm going to do, let's go over here to rigging, say Skittling. Yeah, the whole model has full topology. Let's put it about right there. We'll just go ahead and snap it to that point right there. Bring everything back. And then we'll just kind of solo these things out, because I want to be able to bind. In fact, let's check and make sure. I actually kind of want to bind it a little bit further back. So let's bring this up a little bit further. Something about right there. Now what we're going to do, tus hijos aún son muy pequeños, pero alguno muestra interés por lo que hace. Un poquito, pues. Mi hijo dice que seguramente quiere ser artista, pero también quiere ser arqueólogo. Así se dice, ¿verdad? Como él que busca dinosaurios y todo eso. Mi hija igual. Los dos, a los dos les encanta dibujar, pero pues sí, como quieren ser arqueólogos y como para Jurassic Park. Grab both of these. I'm going to say skin, bind skin. Hopefully this will work to bind both of these pieces to this joint. And then I should be able to go ahead, actually, ooh. Yeah, it's like if I take this, it's going to move the whole thing because it's the only joint. Okay, so here's what I'm going to need to do. I'm going to need to take this. I'm going to say Control D for duplicating. And I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put B. I don't want B. I want V. Put one right here. Maybe even a little bit closer to this joint here, so that way I'm affecting less of the vest down here. Okay, use this right here. And then I want to take another one, just kind of put it here in the middle. Okay, and then all of these, I just want to click and drag them down underneath this. So that way they are kind of still assigned to this mesh and stuff. So what I'm going to do, ooh, you know what? Let's create another one. Control D. It should still be parented underneath, so it should be fine. And then let's go ahead and put this up here. And I think I want to put one on like each side of this opening, just to keep control over the mesh. Okay, I really only want this joint attaching to this small little point here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to grab this main joint. We're going to grab the geometry, skin, bind skin. And I'm hoping this will get me what I need to be able to kind of just adjust that little point. Okay, it looks like it's definitely bound. So I'm going to grab this. Bound somehow. Dang it. Never mind. We're just going to say delete history. And we're going to say joints, delete. Let's say deform. Cluster? I don't know. Let's see. Actually, let's, instead of doing a cluster like that, let's go ahead and select a vertex with the soft select selected. We'll say deform cluster. And then that should, oh, it's only selecting the one. Dang it. Or maybe there's a way for me to be able to, yeah, let's do this again. I'm going to say deform cluster envelope. Resolution, deformer attributes, tweak. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, it looks like I might just have to go through and just tweak it by vertice selection. Dang it. Let's go ahead, let's grab this. We're going to say F9 to be able to get vertex selection. Going to grab that whole ring. I could use the lattice. The hard thing for me about using the lattice is that they're separate pieces, and to be able to control this tiny little section, I'd have to get my lattice to be really, I don't know. I'll try that next. I'll try it next. It could be worth playing around with. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that I can do to kind of get this to work, and I think I might just be shooting myself in the foot, making it harder than it ought to be. But sometimes you just gotta find different solutions. grab some of this. Let's kind of shrink it down a little bit. And we're just going to kind of puff it out so we don't lose volume as much through here. Grab this, get the sculpt tool, get smooth. I wanted to use S to be able to make my brush smaller. It's like you're not in ZBrush anymore. Something like that. Okay, and this is losing some of its volume right here. I want to kind of pull this out just a little bit. Just kind of pull it out and see if we can make this feel a little bit nicer. I'll just adjust the vest separate, not a big deal. Just grab this. I'm going to come up here like this. We'll rotate it a little bit. Okay. I'll just grab this piece and kind of pull it out a little bit just so that it gets a little bit more volume to it. Feels like it loses less volume that way. Maya is my nemesis. Oh no. Tell it to stop. Okay, that's looking better. So now we fixed the pockets, we fixed the shoulder. So I'm going to cross that off. Overall arm shapes, I did that. The shape to the heel here. This is something that we wanted to go through and kind of tweak a little bit. So I'm just going to select that. Let's go to our tool settings, soft selection, change that to volume. Dang it. Going to do like a little bit here and a little bit here. There we go. And then this still isn't round right here. It still isn't quite making the shapes that I want. So let's go through and kind of fix this some. Change this back to surface. Tweak that a little bit so that it's not as out there. Okay, that's got a little bit better of a line going down. Let's kind of tweak this a little bit. It's got a little bit of a rise here, so just get a little bit more of a streamlined sort of shape coming down through here. It's kind of hard to see. This is one of the reasons why I like using ZBrush so much for these sorts of things. But I figured I'd go through and use just Maya for some reason. I'm trying to beat myself up, I guess. Okay, turn off the thing there. Just go to form. We'll go lattice. And then with the lattice, let's go through and we'll actually say channel box, we'll say 5, 5, 5. That way we can make some good selections here. Make this grow some. Just kind of adjust this shape until it feels rounder. Okay, maybe we'll grab this little point right here. That's looking better. Okay, something like that. It's lattices can be super finicky and they can be really kind of tricky to use. But that works. That works. So we'll do that. That's a little bit of a, it has a little bit of an indentation there. It kind of makes it feel organic though. Let's go ahead and grab this. Let's say tool selection, symmetry, not symmetry, soft selection, surface to volume. Shrink that down, bring that up. Yes. See, that's looking quite a bit better. Right, it's still not quite perfect, but it's definitely a lot nicer than it was. So I think I might. Oh, I hate when it does that. I think I might leave it how it is. Let it be. Oh, here are some of the things that we wanted to adjust. These pebbles. Let's grab this, pull it out of the way, pull this out of the way. In fact, we can go through, we can shrink this down. I wish that there was more scale variation. I should have definitely gotten more scale variation with these pebbles because these are a little bit too consistent in size. Any of these pebbles, I just want to go through and kind of make sure that they're not penetrating through the shoes. Like this little guy over here. Look at that little guy. He's so much happier not being under his foot. It's like I am no longer part of the character. I am my own little rock. Let's see. Let's grab this little guy over here, pull him out. Okay. Let's go ahead and save it so we've got it where it is and we don't lose it. Let's go through and grab the apple and the hand and the glove, and we'll work on kind of turning those now. I'm just going to use simple soft select stuff here to make this work. Okay, so Control 1. Let's go ahead and I'm going to say F9. Grab that piece, the apple piece, and then I'm going to grab, I'm going to hit Control Shift and then click and drag to select the hand. So now we got that. Let's kind of soften out that soft select. And then let's bring everything back. Select the rotate tool. And I'm going to try to like move it so that it's oriented about the same direction as the arm is. This way I can just take it and kind of rotate it. Oh, we're gonna run into normals issues, I think. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. I hope it's not a real issue. We'll have to see. It looks like it's going to be a real issue. And this is going to have to be something that I go through and take into to ZBrush, because look at that. Look at how bad that looks. That's like super terrible. Let me see. Rigging, modeling, mesh display, unlock normals, edit display, unlock normals. Same thing with the apple. Unlock normals. Okay. I think the stream is back now. It drives me nuts. Edit edge flow. That's definitely not doing quite what I was hoping it would do. Yeah, this is gonna be a super mess if I just keep going with it like this. Because I mean, you can see the way that this is just not wanting to play at all nicely. Yeah, so I rotated the hand, but it's something that it's not turning out as nicely as it would if I were to do it inside of ZBrush. So I think I might go ahead and just take it into ZBrush, because this is not looking good at all. And this would take way more time than I deserve to spend on it. I don't know, maybe it's not going too badly, I guess, but I definitely have the benefit of a lot of different tools inside of ZBrush that make this process so much better than I have here inside of Maya. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's totally losing its form. It's losing all sorts of things. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if we can undo enough to get our hand back to. I don't think it's going to give me the space to get it back. I can't believe it had enough undos for me to get that back. Okay, cool. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we'll just take it over into into ZBrush and do that. Let's go ahead and take the character, say file, export selection. I'm going to take it into the right folder. We're going to say, oh, change it to FBX. That's why we're not seeing all the stuff there. Okay. Test posed 2. Let's go ahead, while that's saving that out, I'll go ahead and open up ZBrush and get that going. Hopefully I don't run into any more stream issues, because it's frustrating to me. Hopefully it's not super frustrating to you guys, but it's frustrating to me when the internet just gives out. It drives me nuts. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it looks like it finished saving the FBX of the character there. Let's go ahead and jump back over into this. Let's say FBX import. Go back over into our character. test pose 2. Okay, so there's our character. Nice. So you can see that looks much nicer. There's some things in here like the arms we'll go through and we'll kind of play with those a little bit. Don't need to smooth the RGB, just need to smooth the geometry. Just kind of smooth that out a little bit. Okay, so now we've got our arm. Oh, let's go ahead and grab the glove too. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move this into kind of like the center of the arm here. I'm going to turn on the multiple subtool thingy there, the pizza boxes. We're just going to kind of turn it so that it's in the right position, and then we can sculpt it. So much nicer. Yeah, I love ZBrush. I would do the entire thing inside of ZBrush, but the rendering isn't very great inside of ZBrush. You can get some cool results with like BPR and things like that, but definitely not as nice and controlled for rendering as something like Arnold and Maya, which is why I'm in Maya. But yeah. The only other thing that I really do inside of Maya for my characters, for my personal work and stuff, is UVs, because the UVs tool inside of ZBrush is not awesome. So yeah, I tend not to use it. So we got that going on. Let's kind of work on refining this form a little bit here. I'm just going to try to make sure that that's kind of more in the center. It's getting a little bit close to the edge, and I don't need it really that far. You know, I don't need this section of it really at all. So I just want to make sure that it's not going somewhere where I can, where it's going to be interfering with the way that the rest of the model looks. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's come up to this piece because I can see that it's penetrating through right down here. Turn off transparent so we can see. You can see it's going through right there, and I want to make sure that I'm getting everything kind of figured out in a way that makes it feel like it's believable. Hey Nabil, how you doing? Yeah, I want to make sure that this feels like it's not going to interfere with this. I want to make sure that it feels like it's sitting on top of. On top of whatever it's sitting on top of, right? Yeah, so something like that. Okay, so we've got with this piece, we need to kind of take this so that it's not going through the arm. That's a little embarrassing. Okay, let's take this. Let's see if we can figure this piece out here. This is going to need to kind of be pulled through over here some so that it's going around the arm. It might be a matter of also taking the arm and kind of pulling this out a little bit. Have you seen the 2021.6 feather, and what do you think about it? I actually didn't get to see much of the presentation, which was sad. I actually had to work. Had a presentation to give during that time, so I only got to see maybe like an hour of it total. I got to see the very beginning and I got to see the very end. So it was, yeah, it's always kind of interesting. I love, yeah, typically I'm part of like the beta team for ZBrush, and I really love seeing the new features that they come out with. It's always just astounding to me, some of the ideas that they come up with. I don't always find everything that they come up with helpful, but I know that there's somebody out there that's going to just absolutely love it and use it all the time. So it's always kind of interesting, yeah, to see things and think about things in that sort of way too. Is that like, you know, I can't think of a way to use it, but somebody else will, and somebody else will think of a way to use it that will just blow my mind. So yeah, it's neat. It's neat. I really like those sorts of things. Was it a masking thing, or was it a just to kind of get an idea on what it is that you're bringing up here, the feather thing? Is that something that's like making actual feathers, or is it something for like masking and things like that? Either way, I've got to go through and kind of rewatch the stream so that I can see the stuff. It was funny because I was trying to talk to one of my buddies about it the other day. I guess it was yesterday. Wasn't it yesterday? No, it was the other day when it came out, and he was talking about how like, oh, it's so exciting, so many cool things, and we were kind of in the same boat of like yeah, I don't know how I'm going to use it, but it's cool, you know. Got some of that going on. That's looking good. We got the apple down there, and that's looking good. The hand, this feels a little bit off, so let's go ahead and kind of see what we can do. In fact, actually, maybe what we'll do is we'll take this finger here, and instead of leaving it straight like this, we'll go in and we will take it and just kind of rotate it down a little bit. Just rotate it so that it feels like it's grasping onto that apple a little bit better, instead of just kind of hanging out. let's do this. I need to select this this finger section of the glove, so I'm going to go ahead and Control Shift S a couple times here, and then we'll say Control A, bring it back, soften it once, turn off solo, and then we can, yeah, we'll just go ahead and we'll just kind of rotate it a little bit. This way we can get a little bit more of a feeling of the glove is actually being influenced by the hand. So we can see kind of the effect that the hand is having here. Let's kind of just take the glove, say move to, topological, and just kind of pull this out some. I want to make sure that this glove is not, you know, being penetrated. Let's actually do this. I'm going to say display properties, hit flip, so you can see what's going on here. And I'm just going to take this and make sure that it's on the outside of the hand. I'm just using the move brush, and I'm just holding Alt and just kind of pulling on it. Real nice and easy. Do the same thing here with the finger sections. See, we can kind of just massage this so that it's outside of the fingers. Looks like it needs a little bit more there. Looks good. Okay, just kind of pull on that some. Started to study anatomic, but it looks hard to learn. Are you referring to anatomy, or is there like a software package called anatomic? It's not something that I've heard of before. If it's a software package, but anatomy is super helpful. Like, internet's terrible here. I hate my internet so much. Okay, I'm going to say with this hand, like I was saying, I mean, I kind of want to go through and give him like a little bit more of like a, maybe I'll give him like a two fingers back sort of thing. So I'm going to take Control Shift S a few times to make sure that I've got just those fingers kind of selected. We'll say Control A just to be able to mask that off. Yeah, we'll leave it hard the way that it is right now for right now. And let's go ahead and we'll hide a couple of these. Oops. Control Shift S. Make sure that we've got the same number of, space kind of going around these fingers here. Control Shift S one more time, Control A, bring everything back. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to work on kind of posing these fingers at the same time to a certain point. Okay. Going to take them, hide the apple because we don't need the apple. We'll just kind of pose that a little bit like that. Oh, let's see. Let's grab mask lasso. Mask there. Whoa. Kind of do something like that. do something kind of like that. I don't know. So I'm going to kind of bring this over just a little bit. But then with the pinky, I need this to rotate in toward the hand more. Not so much from a standpoint of needing it to like curl into the hand more, but certainly needing it to, and maybe I'll do something kind of like that. But I definitely need it to, you know, kind of, yeah, let's have it bend a little bit here, kind of like that. Okay. So the thing that, and then we'll clean up the crease a little bit, but one of the things that happens with this part of the hand, with the pinky, is that when it curls in, it's also kind of, you know, curling in toward the other fingers. Let's turn that off. I am going to have to keep a little bit of a gap there because, you know, the glove's going to make it so that it's getting a little bit of a little bit more of a gap. It's going to help create a little bit more of a buffer between the fingers. So we got to keep that in mind as we're moving things around. But this is going to be helpful in kind of posing it. So thinking about those things as we're posing, we don't want to get things too pinched. We want to think about materials and their actual effects on each other and those sorts of things. I'm going to go ahead and tweak these edges so that they're nice, so that they're holding up, like upholding the shapes that I need. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go through and smooth out what's underneath here. Just because then I can go through and I can see what's there, and then I can control it. Is today Friday? It is, right? Just kind of puffing this out some, controlling forms, controlling shapes. Point down in here somewhere. Just kind of smooth it, and that'll help us to get more, get it more where we want it. I'm just going to kind of smooth this out right here. These points are never going to be seen because they're hidden by the glove. So I'm just going to kind of smooth it out. It's easier, a little bit easier that way. And I'm not perfectly sure like where my where my joints are in some of these edge loops. So hopefully this is working well enough for what I need. It's going to kind of space them out a little bit. Bring everything else back. Something like that's working. It's working pretty well. All right. Yeah, hands are complex, especially when they have gloves on. Doing my retopo work while watching you. Yeah, retopo is awesome. It can be really relaxing. Sometimes it can be really frustrating. But yeah, I mean there's some simple things that you know, kind of help to make it less frustrating, and it's just, you know, kind of understanding that you've got a bunch of different tools at your disposal. It's going to kind of tear up that shape just a little bit more, make it feel like it's been through something. And then we're going to have to go over into our other file to texture the gloves. But yeah, I mean, it's working out so far. So let's go ahead, let's get this so that it's exported again. Smooth normals, we don't need the maps. Visible, binding, yeah, okay, we're great. Export. Say posed to Z. That way we know that it came from ZBrush. Oh, you know what? Before I actually take this new file over into Maya, I'm going to take this. I want to kind of play with his cheek form a little bit. I feel like the cheek and the eye and those sorts of things are still a little bit not quite as nice as I'd like. So I'm just going to kind of smooth that form out a little bit. And let's get this mouth kind of pulled up and over a little bit more. And then, ooh. Okay, here's something else I wanted to kind of check. It's kind of the way that the anatomy was playing out through the shoulder. Because, I mean, it didn't quite rotate the way that I would have wanted. And I just let it be instead of actually doing something about it. Let's kind of tweak that just a little bit. This stuff in here, I'm not going to worry too much about it because it's not showing. But I did want to kind of rotate that shoulder a little bit. Anything texture-wise, again, we'll worry about that in the other file. Go ahead and kind of exaggerate that eye just a little bit. exaggerate this one just a little bit too. Just kind of make it so that it's much more narrow. Take this and bring it down some. Kind of pull on the corner of the eye a little bit there. Gotta clean this up some. There we go. Pull this down a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to decide if the eyebrows feel like they're coming off of the face enough. Just gonna pull it off just a little bit more over here. I'll do something similar with this brow here. That's a little bit too much, I think. Let's take it just a little bit less, but a little bit, you know, more than where it was, right? Okay, something like that. Okay, let's see if we can kind of double check his pants here. So we'll be able to control this shape much better inside of ZBrush than we ever could inside of Maya. Go ahead and smooth that out some. Look at it from a different angle. So yeah, I really want to kind of true up this shape, so make it so it's like straighter, just going straight across sort of thing. Not perfectly straight. I mean, I don't need it to be, you know, a super hard line, but I do want it to be something that feels defined, feels controlled, feels intentional. We'll just kind of take out some of this geometry down here. It doesn't need to be super defined down there. Okay, smooth that some. Grab trousers, just kind of pull on this this leg shape down here. That'll help get me a little bit better of a line going up the side. Tug on this pocket just a little bit. Some sort of weird sound coming from a house behind us or something. There we go. That feels a little bit better. What do you think? Should we give him like a little bit of an Adam's apple? Just like kind of Plop. Something like that feels kind of nice. Maybe a little bit higher. Oops, a little bit too big. And then keeping it kind of subtle to help him feel still a little young, you know? I want him to feel like he's a teenager. So that'll be nice. Let's go ahead and grab this. It looks like we need to make some adjustments here to make sure that it's not totally swallowing the ear. Try to keep some of the volume to these fluff points going around it, but I want to make sure that there's some space around the ear. So we can still see it. Okay, turn off transparent. It's looking much better. It still has a little bit of, there we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Alright. You see, right here too. Let's go ahead and actually adjust the scarf to accommodate the fluff, because I feel like the scarf is probably more malleable than the fluff is. So this will help to create a little bit more interest in that shape of the scarf as well. I do want to take this section of the scarf, and we're just going to take it and we're going to bend it around a little bit. Oops, not like that. Bend it. I'm going to hold R. So with the rotate, I'm going to hold Alt and kind of grab this end one and kind of rotate it a little bit. And then I'm going to hit W for the move transpose tool. I'm going to hold Alt and bend it. Okay, so this way we get a little bit of a bend to this piece of the scarf. Makes it a little bit more dynamic. Bend to that piece. Let's go ahead and give this a little bit more of a bend. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good. Let me see real quick. I kind of want to give a little bit more lift to this wrist, and I want to do it. I want to do the wrist at the same time as I'm doing the glove part of the wrist. So I'm going to say, let's come over here. We'll say transpose master, T-pose mesh. I'm going to do it in here. Actually, let's use the transpose line. just to give it like a little bit extra lift, you know. That helps to make the pose quite a bit more dynamic. So we're just gonna kind of play with the peak on this wrist so that it's got a little bit more of a transition there. So we're getting like a straight curve on the or a straight line on top of the arm, a little bit of a bend here underneath. Okay, that helps to create a sense of weight and a sense of directionality. Okay. Just gonna take this and move it over a little bit. Good to see you, Jefferson. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I'll definitely be posting some more about this in Instagram. So yeah, feel free to drop in anytime. Let's grab this, bring it all back. Yeah, it's always nice to have people in the stream. Uh-oh, it sounds like somebody's choking on something. Kind of move this up, and then we'll adjust some of the forms here so that they don't feel too flat. Oh. Getting somewhere good, and this is just a small bit of what we have to do to get this to really work the way that I'm wanting it to. But it's but you know, it is working. Let's make sure that the collar fluff isn't penetrating through the scarf. Want to make sure that the scarf isn't penetrating through the neck. And that's looking pretty good. Whew. Now that it's February, I gotta go through and do a year in review. Alright, let's go ahead and T-pose the sub-T. It's kind of funny to see the teeth and the mouth bits get adjusted. Yeah, kind of funny. Alright. Didn't take too long at all. There we go. There's our new posed character. Just making some fine tweaks here and there. There's a lot that you can just kind of noodle to death, but you know what? I'm gonna super pull this over. Let's pull this over, just because it feels like it's supposed to be, and it just didn't get pulled over enough when it was getting posed. this is great. This is the longest I think the stream has gone so far today without getting interrupted. Is it just that? Just this? Okay, I think I'm willing to call that good. Is there anything else? Let me check over my notes. Okay, so that's something I'll have to do later. I'm going to mark things in yellow on my list that I need to make sure to do later. Punch base, and we're going to do the SSS control and maps. The glove penetration, we have finished that. We pushed the pose. We could probably do more to the pose. We could probably do more to a lot of things, but we're going to do it right there. We did the shoe heel forms. We'll check. Let's double check that real quick, actually, because that might need a little extra TLC, and we'll be able to tell a little bit more easily here inside of ZBrush. But no, I mean, it looks good. Let's kind of true it up just a little bit, maybe. Pull that up some. There we go, looking good. All right, sweet. Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to say guide pose 2B. Okay, and we'll say save. In fact, I should have said instead of pose B, I should have said pose fixes or something like that. But yeah, so we got that. Let me see. It's not really a huge deal right now. His trousers, it just feels like the shape is a little bit funky through here. So let's just kind of fix this. There's always going to be something that I notice, and I'm glad I'm noticing it now before I get it taken over into into Maya. But you know, it's good to go through and make fixes. It's good to go through and make changes and be extra sure of extra sure of your results. Let me see. Now that we're seeing this, I want to go ahead and kind of take this and tweak it some so that it feels more like it's going up and in instead of kind of getting stuck where it is. So let's just kind of take this and adjust it some. Just kind of make it so there's a little bit of give and take here. Turn off the transparency, and that feels like that's doing pretty well. Okay, just another once over to kind of check and make sure everything looks good. I did a sketch the other day to kind of explore what this guy would look like. With a different facial expression. I want to do kind of a different thing for him. Let's see if you can kind of see it. The glare from the window is a little bit heavy. Kind of pull that down some. So you can kind of see that. You know, it's just kind of funny. So very you know, Hanna-Barbera, Scooby-Doo sort of running effect, you know, pose. It's yeah, anyway, just kind of playing, having fun. Yeah, okay, I think we're good. Let's go ahead. Let's export the FBX. Test posed. Here we go. Let's export this. And then we're going to go ahead and take it back over into Maya and apply the materials. And then... and we'll call it good. Ready or not, here we come. Let's go ahead and hit hide. File, import. If it'll let me. Let's go to the right folder. There we go. Okay. So it looks like what it did is it actually went through and replaced my geometry. Take that, get rid of him, and then we'll put the all this other geometry together. Uh-oh. Yeah, let's do this. Delete. File, import. Did I create a mistake? Nope, I got the whole thing. Okay, we're good. So there's the guy pose. There's the posed apple. Let's go ahead and name it. Yeah. The guy who's tracking the beast just turned around, see the beast. That's funny. A little follow-up story moment. That's smart. I'll do that. So I'm gonna have to go through and design the creature now, and that's kind of something that I was kind of playing with some sketching ideas the other day. Let me see. Now I got to go through and kind of sketch this out because now it's in my head, and it's not going to get like sketched out all the way. I don't know. Put something down. You just kind of like scribble it out or whatever. I don't know. I'll have to play with some ideas. Guy posed fixed. Let's go ahead and kind of solo this out. Select all the pieces. Assign existing material. Guy matte. Okay. And actually, let's just check to make sure. Yeah, it should be the right one. Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll say, do I need to soften normals at all? No, it looks like the normals are all softened, which is good. Something that I haven't shown anybody, really, is the teeth. So if we were to go through and look, okay, it looks like it's actually performing all right. I'm going to hit render. Hopefully it doesn't cut the stream on me, but I'm going to hit render. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to take the render, and we're going to turn camera down to 3. Subsurface scattering down to 2. common, we'll just take it down to a, instead of being a 1K square, we'll do it at a 540. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit render. The teeth, I went through and have like these very varied teeth, so they're not nice straight line. I have like some good character to them. And then one of the teeth is actually a golden tooth. I don't know what it actually looks like in render because I don't think I've actually ever rendered it. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues with the stream here. There we go. Now it's like I'm seeing that it's, yeah, the teeth look pretty good, but the tooth itself, like the gold tooth, it looks a little bit too weird. It looks weird, so I'm gonna need to do something to be able to fix that. But yeah, there is the first reveal of of his tooth. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to say, let's open this group up, unhide him, unhide him, and there we go. We got our pose fixed. We got the pieces worked out so that they're not penetrating, so that should be much better now. This looks a little bit odd to me though, the way that this arm is here. I think what I'm gonna do, let's come in over here. It's funny because like it doesn't feel as weird to me inside of ZBrush. I'm just gonna smooth this out some with the relax smooth, and we'll just kind of pull it out a little bit. Left wrist is killing me right now. I'm right-handed, so it's kind of funny that I'm getting all this pain in my left wrist. But I'll try not to complain too much. And let's go ahead and kind of pull the wrist up on this side a little bit. Pull the wrist up on the glove a little bit. Helps to create a little bit more of a bend, make it feel more posed. Something like that. And we'll just kind of relax those points back out. Good. Okay, save it. And then, yeah, I'll save over the FBX and then kind of re-import the new FBX. So let's do this. 2Z. You. All right. Come back over here. And I'm going to go ahead and let's delete all these pieces. I want to leave the group, but I want to delete the pieces. Let's say import low poly 2Z test, whatever. Once it brings it in, Grab all of our pieces and throw it into the fixed folder. And then we'll also grab them. We'll say assign existing material. I can't actually reach. I'm just going to open my Hypershade. It's over in my other window. Going to find the right material. Guy matte. Assign object to selection. And then delete unused nodes. Okay, some of the things that we can do, I'm going to hit delete history. This is actually like edit, delete all by type history. Okay, I went ahead and put that button there on my shelf just so it's easier to get to. And then optimize scene size. Say OK, and that gets rid of anything that we don't actually currently need. Oh, that's so much better. That shape is so much better. Yes. See, this is why we do iteration. And you can see, like, his butt looks so much better, too. That is America's butt. No, just kidding. It's not America's butt. I do need to fix some of these blades of grass, though, that I was noticing. While looking at some of my draw over renders, I need to make sure that they're not hanging off the end of the platform, otherwise it just doesn't make sense. Let's grab this, kind of pull that in. The grass over here on this side is all coming out from the dirt, and I kind of like that. So maybe I'll do something like that over here as well. I don't have any grass coming out of him, right? Nope. Okay, so we're good. Drag those just straight over so that they are part of the grassy platform instead of being part of the base. Alright, that's better. I'm going to go ahead and say save. And then once this is done, we can do a render test. Oh, actually, let's not do a render test because I know it's going to happen. It's going to create some issues. Let's see. I'm going to come back here. Let's go to the 1K square again. Okay, which is a 1024 by 1024. This way I can go ahead and I can use my bookmarks. Let's go to my final view here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's make an actual render camera. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm using the perspective camera, and the perspective camera is the one that has the bookmarks. If I want to be able to keep these at all, I need to be able to have like duplicate this camera. So I'm going to say Control D. Okay, so you see now I've got perspective 1, and perspective 1 has all these cameras attached to it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this render cam. Okay, and I'm going to say panels, look through selected. So now you can see render cam is selected. Panels. Oh, no bookmarks. No bookmarks. Here, we'll go ahead and we'll make some bookmarks then. Edit bookmarks. Render 01. Okay, so that way we know that we've got that. I do want to make sure that I can kind of see the whole thing, so I'm going to kind of pull my attribute editor or whatever, the tool settings out a little bit so that it kind of shoves everything into the view. Let's do something like this. New bookmark. render 02. And just to kind of get like all these different angles, I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know, new bookmark, render 03, please. It won't rename it to 3, so we'll say render back. Привет. The hand going a little bit too much into the pants? Don't think so. Which hand are you talking about? I'll go check it out in a second. Say render back right. Render front right. Render front left. Render back left. That way we have those in there. Come down here. Kind of get a good view looking up at them. Say new bookmark, worm's eye left, and let's just go through, copy that. Worm's eye right. Worm's eye back right. Worm's eye back left. Just to kind of cover all these bases here. We'll get kind of bird's eye. We won't get like all the different angles for bird's eye, I don't think. Bird's eye left. Oh, and the other thing I want to do right now, before I end the stream, is pull his glasses in so that I can kind of throw some shaders on that and just test those out. I don't necessarily have a particular plan with the shaders. I just want to throw something on there to have it get the look. Let me see. Say new bookmark, I'll have to go check that out. Now I actually want to take my render cam. Let's go over here to our motions, and we're going to say lock. So this way I can't move my camera around, but if I wanted to, I could come over here. Oh, it won't let me do that. That's interesting. Lock select or unlock selected. Sorry, unlock selected. Come on, you. Unlock selected. There we go. All right, let's go back. Bookmarks, render front left. Okay. Now we're good. All right, so apple hand. You said apple hand feels like it's going into the leg. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit. Here, let's go fix that, because that's a good point. And his apple is touching that rock. That is definitely not sanitary. Okay, I'm going to say, let's grab the geometry in here. I'm going to actually, let's group it. Character group. That way the main group has something in it. And this way we can go through and kind of justify where we're putting things. Let's come back over into here. No, but that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, let's say transpose master, T-pose mesh. Let's grab that there. Unmask that. Okay, so now we've got this. Let's go ahead and change back to our gizmo. Let's see. Now this is a point where I feel like I need to kind of just squish the glove up. So I'm just going to take this and kind of squish this up to where the arm might be. Push this out of the way too, so that this is kind of getting some squish from the arm. Something like that. No, that's a good catch. That's a good catch for you. Thank you very much. I'll appreciate you looking out for me like that. That's all super bent out of place right there. I'm just going to kind of fudge it a little bit, just kind of pull it until it feels about right. Let's check this from different angles and see what feels good. I think the arm needs to get a little bit of sag after it comes out of the glove, just because of the fleshiness of it. take this little section here. Actually, let's not soften it that way. Let's kind of bring this up. Soften that just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that was a good call. Give it a little bit of a sag underneath the weight of his hand there. Not a ton, but just a little bit. Okay. Okay. T-pose sub T. Yeah, when you're done rendering, you'll see it. You're absolutely right. No, that was a super, super good call. I'd actually take, let's take these fingers and just kind of adjust them a little bit. That shape was a little bit bothersome to me. Give a little bit more control on those fingers. Alright, let's try this again. Replace that. Let's make sure we stay over in ZBrush while this is finishing out. Finish. I didn't see the little thing pop up, so maybe it finished and it just, I guess there's one way to know. There's one way to find out. Let's go ahead and grab this. I should have checked the publishing time on that file, see if it worked. Yeah, it looks like that's the right one. Okay, so same thing, we're going to grab this, oh, let's say add existing material, we're going to say guy matte, drag them into the character group, close that down. Okay. That was a good call. Okay, so now we're going to say file, delete all by type history, file, optimize scene size. Okay, check my, yeah, it looks like I got rid of all of my unwanted nodes. Just to make sure. Yeah, okay, sweet. Okay, cool. Bookmarks, front left. going to hit, let's grab the camera. I'm going to hit S. Let's go to bookmarks, front right. Render back. Render left. Worm's eye. Worm's eye. Worm's eye. Worm's eye. Bird's eye. Bird's eye. Okay, and then one of the things that I want to go through and do is I want to go back to the worm's eye right. Sorry, not the back right. I want to go to the worm's eye right, this one. Sorry, other right. Go to the left. Okay, and then I also want to go ahead and say, you know, for right here, we'll go ahead and we will select all of these. And we'll say key selected. On this one, I want to go ahead and change my focal length to something like 18. I want to really feel like I'm looking up at this guy. Just for the sake of testing it. I mean, it looks really funky. Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. Let's get a better view at this. Then it might feel less weird. The fingers in the mud. I'll have to check that out. Okay. Now let's go ahead and take this. So now that I've got keys, I should be able to say lock selected. Yep, now I can go to my different angles. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's go to panels, perspective. Yeah, fingers are definitely touching that mud a little bit. That's an easy fix. Easy enough anyway. Go ahead and bring this down. Throw that down there like that. That should be good enough. Maybe. I'm glad you're catching these things, because I wasn't. And I probably wouldn't have until, like you said, until we get to until we get to render time. Okay, so there are some things that I need to turn on these parts of the character so that he renders out properly. So let's go in. It's underneath the shape node. We're going to go into Arnold. Turn off visibility. Turn off export. Subdivisions. What I want. I want to go to type. Cat Clark. Turn the iterations up to 3. Okay. And then under displacement, I'm going to open auto bump and turn that on. So I'm going to do that for all these different pieces. Okay, Cat Clark, 3, enable auto bump. Cat Clark, 3, auto bump. All these pieces. Now the gums, the teeth, everything like that. I mean, it's not really a huge deal if these pieces are given this this sort of treatment, because they won't really be seen as much. But I'm going to still turn it on just because, just to make sure. And this is where knowing some scripting would be super helpful, because then I could go through and make the process and then select the pieces and then have all the pieces apply automatically, you know, at the push of a button. But in the very least, I mean, it's not super slow. I mean, we're over halfway done. Enable auto bump. Okay, sweet. And then the shoulders. Enable auto bump. Almost done. We're almost done, guys. We are almost done. Uh-oh. 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 Don't do that. Oh, not 31, just 3. That would have been terrible. Alright, and then the apple is the last piece. 3. Enable auto bump. Okay. File save. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to run the render. I'm going to cut the stream now and probably go do something with my family. But yeah. Thank you so much, Ryu, for being here and helping me to get all that figured out. That was helpful for you to point those things out, so I appreciate that. Yeah, let me see. Let's jump back over into the render cam. I kind of want to test this view out, but I'm almost also like a little afraid to, just because it's like it's so pushed, it's so extreme. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. So you got that where you can see the apple, kind of. The apple's not cheating the camera very much though, so you don't really see as much of the. Here, let's go ahead. We'll go over to. Oh. Focal length is at 35. So why am I getting this this issue? Unlock selected. Unlock selected. Man, that got super messed up, didn't it? Say delete. Man, it's still going through and why? Come on. Let's just go through. I'm gonna say delete all keys. Where are the I guess let me see break connections. That worked. Say view, bookmarks, edit bookmarks. We'll say worm's eye center. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let's try this and remind you to save. Yeah, somebody's always here to remind me to save. It's a good thing to remember. Okay, let me see. So I'll probably go ahead. I probably won't stream it, but I'll probably jump on again later to ZBrush to be able to go through, add freckles to his shoulders, to his face. Let me see. Adjust different maps for like the subsurface scattering to get less subsurface scattering for the brows and lashes. And other things that I need to be able to kind of control. So yeah. Yep, 4 days. Not a whole lot of time left. But it'll be cool. It'll be cool. I'm really, really excited. It's coming along great. It's just a matter of getting there. Let's go ahead and save. And then I'm going to hit render, and I will see you guys next time I see you. For those of you who missed the beginning of the stream, I went through and I did a bunch of like drawovers and things like that to kind of figure out some of the things that I wanted to do to fix this. So you can see it's like right here, you can see I'm pointing out like the subsurface scattering issues here. I want to figure out a way to be able to render these lit up discs here so that they feel really cinematic and super cool. Because I don't think I'm allowed to composite in my renders, so anything that I want to do has to be done in the render, which that'll be interesting. I fixed some penetration issues with the bands here around the arms, penetration with the pants, here on the knee, here on the back of the trousers where the pockets are. Fixed a lot of shape things, lots of things kind of coming in. Need to fix this. I need to add some wrinkles to the elbow, just a couple simple little fold wrinkles to kind of help it feel like an elbow. And then I fixed some penetration there. You know, not really much to look at here, but I do need to go through and kind of punch out the details in the base so that the two of these match a little bit better. Which means I might just tone back what's happening on the bottom part and leave the top part alone, or I might kind of even them out, make the top part a little bit a little bit heavier in detail, and then pull the detail out of this just a little bit so that it kind of averages it out a little bit. Trying to go through and kind of emphasize the pushing the shape a little bit more, adding more weight to that gesture, straightening out, cleaning up that shape here, cleaning out the shape of the pants coming through here, cleaning up the shape of the shoes, playing with the shape of the hand coming through here, the arm, fixing penetration here. I am going to want to go through and make sure that I have a very clean sort of eye, just like very bejeweled sort of eye look right there. I want to get kind of like this Vincent Dromart sort of look. But yeah, anyway, so those are some of the things that I'm kind of looking at here. Let's see. I'm gonna put ZZZ. That way it comes up at the end of the at the end of the Z list. or at the end of the 10 list. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's where we're headed. I'm super excited about it. I mean, this is gonna be such a neat project to have in my portfolio, because he's so different. You know, he's so different from